Hey, what's up YouTube? Lightsaber Samurai here, and I'm back again with another video. Now what I wanted to do originally is take you guys with me as I did some game hunting. It's been a while since I got some new games, so I just kind of felt like playing something new, but as fate would have it, I have about 51 cents in my pocket, so instead I thought it's a good opportunity to dive back into that backlog. So here it is, Backlog Volume 2. Let's talk about it. Alright, so the first game that's up on today's list, and that one here is going to be Ryse Son of Rome. I don't know how well you can see that, but Ryse Son of Rome, that was an Xbox One exclusive, and I picked this one up a few years ago and meant to play it and just never got around to it. In this, you play as a Roman general towards the end of the Roman Empire, and at the beginning of the game, he's rescuing, I want to say his guy's name is Nero. He's one of the emperors at the end of the Roman Empire. He takes him in. It kind of works in a flashback. He's kind of telling Nero the story of his upcoming and how these guys got to where they are today. It's a brutal tale of revenge and has a pretty nice combat system. It's actually quite simplistic, but they give you one attack button, a nice parry move, a move to break guards, and that's pretty much it. But you'll see during the combat, the game kind of highlights which button you need to press. So for instance, if it highlights blue, then you need to press the X button and do a slash. It has some cool finishing moves, and like I said, I played about 30 minutes of it. Definitely want to go back to it. The graphics look pretty good for their day, considering that this is one of the earlier Xbox One titles, but it is enhanced with Xbox One X, so I'm told, but I don't have one, so we'll just have to take their word for it. But like I said, right now this is a game that can be found pretty cheap. I got it for about $10 a few years back, and I think it's definitely worth that. So first up, we've got Ryse Son of Rome. Okay, the next game on our list is an offering from the PlayStation 2, and this is Primal on the PlayStation 2. This is also a third-person action-adventure game. You start as a girl named Jen, who's kind of like a modern-day girl. She's kind of thrown back into this alternate dimension after she has some kind of near-death experience. Despite the fact that the first half an hour, I played this game for about an hour or so, maybe a little more. The first hour of that I played was mostly exposition dump, and that being the case, I still really don't know what's going on here. There's this creature named Kronos who's tasked with basically balancing the world or the universe or the dimension, whatever. He's trying to balance it all together, but the forces of chaos are trying to disrupt that, and so you and her gargoyle-like companion Scree, you guys go out on this quest to go to the Four Realms and I guess bring balance back to the dimension. So in that, supposedly you can take on the forms of a lot of different creatures and do a lot of things like that. Unfortunately, I didn't get that far. Even after dumping an hour or so into it, I think I got into one skirmish with a knife, and I'll try to show it here. But like I said, this game starts off super slow, so it was kind of hard for me to stick with it, but I'll try to go back to it because the reviews I've seen, it does become a little more action-packed. There's a lot more to offer later in the game, but I'm just having trouble getting over that initial hump. So if you pick up this game, like I said, I got it for $2.99, so it is quite cheap, but just be advised, your first hour or two of the game is going to go very slow. And that's about all I got to say about that. So not the best, but so far not awful, and I'll have to give it more of a chance. So Primal on the PS2. Alrighty, also on the PS2, another game that I dived into just very briefly, and also a weird game in itself. This one here is Baroque from Atlas, and that's basically the reason why I grabbed it. I picked it up sight unseen because like I said, anything Atlas generally goes up in price tremendously later on in its life, so it was something I wanted to pick up so I can give it a shot and won't have to pay crazy prices later when I actually felt like giving it a go. Anyway, in this, it's kind of a rogue like dungeon crawler game. Basically It takes place in a post-apocalyptic world, and you are tasked with going to this neuro tower and just kind of figure out everything that's going on. What your mission is, try to regain your lost memories. Now this game does an interesting thing with storytelling, as you're basically you're going to die, hence the roguelike gameplay in the game. Like, death is inevitable in this, but as you die and keep coming back, then more of the storyline is revealed to you. So dying is only the beginning, and the game like broke. So kind of a sluggish combat system. Like I said, it's your standard dungeon crawling 3D RPG. But like I said, it has kind of an interesting graphical style and an interesting concept along with it. So this is definitely a game that I'll be playing more of. Like I said, as of right now, you can still get this one pretty cheap. So if you see Baroque, it's definitely worth a shot. If not simply because it's Atlas, and if you don't get it now, a few years from now, it'll probably be $100 or more. So that's Baroque on the PS2. Alright, and this next game, we're going to hop onto the handhelds for a moment, and let's take a look at the PSP, and this is Grip Shift on the PSP now. And in this game, it seems like your standard racing game, but I mean, this combines action, it combines platforming, puzzle solving, and racing all in one game. They've got courses where you can just basically race, and in that, it's a combat racer where you pick up nitrous the boost, and you pick up various offensive and defensive weapons. Also, it has a bunch of different modes, like puzzle modes where you have to actually drive on platforms, and it'll take you up from level to level, and you continue the quest on those platforms. Like, this is a very interesting game, and I'm loving it. It's got, I want to say, a licensed soundtrack on it. All of it sounds pretty good. And like I said, once you plug your PSP into your TV and play it like that in 480p, the graphics look pretty good. I'm always impressed with the PSP, near PS2 quality as far as their graphics goes, and this game is no different. Grip Shift, like most PSP games, you can get pretty cheap. I got this one for about $5, so if you see Grip Shift, definitely pick it up. It's a unique take on the racing genre, so there's Grip Shift. Okay, and last but certainly not least, we are hopping on to the Wii U. Yes, that's right, the Wii U. And we are going to take a look at Runbow Deluxe Edition. And Runbow is a very unique platformer when you play as a bunch of indie characters from a bunch of indie games. So they've got Juan from Guacamelee, they've got Shovel Knight in here, they've got Shantae in here, and you basically unlock them during challenges and things like that. The gimmick in this game is its kind of color mechanic, and while you're platforming, while you're playing the game, the color will constantly shift from red to pink to brown and things like that, green, and the environment will react accordingly. So for instance, while the green is flashed in the background, green platforms may disappear and others may become available. So you really have to get to timing when the colors flash, and you'll get indication of it, but you'll have to time your jumps accordingly. There's a ton of pitfalls, ton of traps, and enemies as well. But like I said, I have had fun with this game. Very short, 1 to 3 minute long levels in that, and so there are dozens and dozens of them for you to play and unlock. This of course is the deluxe edition, and so it came with a bunch of extra content. It has the original game, a bunch of it has all the DLC packs that came out, also a voucher to get the soundtrack to it, but like I said, just a lot of value in this game, and this is another one I picked up for about $10, and so far as I know, this is one that did not get ported over to the Switch, so definitely worth picking this up. It's a fantastic game. You get to play as a lot of fantastic characters, and being that it was only on the Wii U, at least so far as I know, this one will probably shoot up in the future, so definitely pick it up today if you see it. Alright guys, so that's basically going to do it for me, but what do you think? Questions, comments, concerns, threats? In the comment section below, what do you guys think about the games I chose from my backlog? Collectors, how are you guys doing with your backlog? How many games you got? Are you knocking that down? Come on guys, let's go ahead and get through our backlogs and, you know, fulfill one of my personal goals, and it is on my bucket list to play all the games I own. So just let me know what you think about it. If you like this content, please give me a like and subscribe if you haven't already. I do believe that's all I got for you. Lightsaber Samurai out. Peace.